Namaste, Rajiv. Thank you for your work. It is truly eye-opening. My question is about the conflict or alleged conflict between Hinduism and Buddhism.
Good question.
So your book and Dr. Upendra Rao's talk at your JNU event gave the counter evidence, and I'm quite convinced by the counter evidence.
Yeah. So
it is all of,
So let me answer that. Your question is.
My question is, do the Buddhists see this?
No. Yeah. Okay. Let me give you both of it. There is no. First of all, Buddha himself was a Kshatriya. Buddha himself was initiated and learnt from various gurus, various Vedic gurus. He learnt his meditation. And Buddha's philosophy is very much like very Upanishadic philosophy. As far as his jnana is concerned, it is very much like that. As far as his meditation is concerned, it is very much like yoga. Because yoga is not just physical asanas, yoga is also meditation. And he is a very strong believer in karma. So karma is also there. So you see, and then as far as bhakti is concerned, the Tibetan Buddhists have a lot of bhakti also. Some forms of Buddhism don't, some forms of Buddhism do. I mean, you go and they have deities, they have, so many of their female deities are corresponding to the Hindu deities. So there are all these similarities. So Buddhism is another interpretation, another parampara, another sampradaya, you might say. Like we have so many, there is probably more difference between Advait and Dvait within Vedanta than there is between Advait and Madhyamika Buddhism. There is less difference between Tantra, our Tantra and Buddhist Tantra, Tibetan Tantra and our Tantra, very similar in the type of meditation, visualization, what they're trying to do. Also, most of us are so rudimentary in our practice that what we have to do for a long time is the same. We have to clean our act, we have to live a certain life, we have to stop doing certain things. I mean, these are so common. They're so common. And by the time you reach a state of consciousness where there's hair splitting distinctions, first let's get there. So for us to start conflicting is over abstraction, getting ahead of the game, getting too far ahead, ignoring where we are. Because where we are, we have to be unified. We have similar problems. I was in Cambodia, we had a Hindu-Buddhist summit that Swami Dayanand Saraswati organized. He organized several of these, Hindu-Jewish, I was part of that also. So the idea of Hindu-Buddhist summit in Cambodia was to bring the top Buddhist leaders and top from various countries and top Hindu leaders together and discuss these issues. And it was very clear to everybody from both sides that Buddhists are facing a huge conversion from Christianity and Islam in those countries. They're facing a huge threat. And they're saying we need to learn from the Hindus who've been fighting it longer because we're being finished off. And they feel that in one generation they may be finished off. There may be majority of those Southeast Asian countries may no longer be Buddhist within one generation. That's how serious the problem is. And it's also very serious in Bhutan. So it's also very serious in Nepal. So they understand the gravity of the situation, and rather than some hair-splitting philosophical debate, which all our traditions have had, we got to figure out what's unifying us. The Buddhists are beginning to realize this. The Buddhist leaders at the top are beginning to realize this. Okay. The Dalai Lama, the Dalai Lama was one of the founders of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Did you know that?
I did.
Dalai Lama and also Swami Chinmayanand were among the original leaders of VHP. It's very interesting. They understood this problem. So we also have to do a better job. It's our people who got to do a better job also.
Right.
So what has happened is this. Similarly with Sikhism, there's a Harjit Singh Ubroy or something like that is the name of professor in Canada. He wrote this book showing that only in the 1800s the British started creating a separate Sikh identity.
Okay.
That until then it was not so. That they would celebrate Holi, they would celebrate Diwali, there were all this,
Yeah.
And only in the 1800s the British decided that they'll create a separate Sikh identity, get them in the army, make them a martial race, give them pride as separate, and then the Sikhs gradually over time went for it. He's a Sikh guy, and he was scolded for this and never got an academic job again. So much for academic freedom.
Right.
Yeah. So you can find this kind of literature. You can find this literature about Hindu, Buddhist, Sikh also, and now the Jains are being asked to separate, to create a separate Jain identity, and some of them are going around talking like that. This is the problem we have.